Bro, the entire combat sports world just got flipped upside down by 5 simple words Rico Verhoeven posted on Instagram. Not a rant. Not a meltdown. Not even a direct accusation. Just 5 cold words connected to the official protest his team filed less than 24 hours after the fight. Rules only matter if applied. And somehow, those 5 words have created even more chaos than the stoppage itself. Because now this is no longer just about whether the referee made a mistake. This has turned into a full-blown debate about whether boxing can even protect its own credibility anymore. While fans are still arguing over the ending, another storm is building at the same time, the growing belief that Oleksandr Usyk may already be thinking about retirement. Stay with me because once you hear what Eddie Hearn, Ryan Garcia, Peter Fury and several major names around boxing have all said publicly, you'll understand why this story refuses to die. This is not over. Not even close. Let's rewind the entire situation from the beginning because every new detail somehow makes the controversy look even worse. Saturday night. Pyramids of Giza. One of the most historic venues boxing has ever used. Oleksandr Usyk walks in undefeated, already cemented as one of the greatest heavyweights of this era. 2 wins over Anthony Joshua. 2 wins over Tyson Fury. Multiple undisputed championships. A fighter many people believed was untouchable technically. Across from him stood Rico Verhoeven, a kickboxing legend stepping into one of the biggest boxing matches imaginable with almost no modern boxing experience. Most fans expected a showcase. A stay-busy fight. Something entertaining before Usyk moved on to another mega event. But from the opening rounds, it became obvious something felt completely different. Rico was not there to survive. He was there to win. The game plan built by Peter Fury shocked people immediately. Tight high guard. Constant pressure. Heavy jab. Relentless forward movement. Rico used every bit of his massive size advantage and forced Usyk backward repeatedly. And the craziest part? It worked. Round after round, Usyk looked uncomfortable. Slow. Hesitant. The sharp angles and movement that usually make him untouchable just were not there consistently. By the later rounds, even longtime boxing analysts were stunned at how competitive the fight had become. Some people had it close. Some had Rico clearly ahead. 2 judges reportedly had the fight even after 10 rounds, while another leaned toward Rico. Online scorecards were everywhere. Some fans believed Verhoeven was controlling the fight entirely going into round 11. Then came the moment that changed everything. Usyk finally landed the shot he had been searching for all night. A brutal uppercut. Rico dropped. The crowd exploded instantly. For the first time in the entire fight, Rico looked seriously hurt. But then he got up. He beat the count. His gloves came back high. He was still standing. Still trying to defend himself. Still trying.
Absolute bullshit. If you've just watched that fight like I have, you're probably thinking about giving up watching boxing altogether. Rico was absolutely dominating that fight. He was making Oleksandr Usyk look incredibly normal, incredibly average. He was going forward, he was winning the fight. He was way ahead on points. And then in the 11th round, okay, Usyk caught him with a couple of good shots. The referee stepped in and stopped it with 1 second to go in the 11th round. What absolute bullshit. Rico was robbed. He was absolutely robbed because if they'd given him 1 more second, it didn't look like he was in real danger. If they'd given him 1 more second, he would have had that rest and he would have come out into the last round and who knows what would have happened. It's absolute bullshit, complete bullshit. Rico was absolutely robbed. What a bullshit sport this has turned out to be.
Trying to survive. And then the referee stopped the fight. 1 second before the round ended. 1 literal second. That single second is now the center of the entire controversy. Because if Rico survives that final moment, he gets a full minute on the stool to recover before the final round. And that possibility is exactly why fans exploded online afterward. Social media instantly filled with accusations of a premature stoppage. Fighters reacted. Trainers reacted. Analysts reacted. Everyone seemed divided over the same question. Did Rico deserve the chance to continue? But the story somehow became even crazier after the fight ended. Peter Fury boarded the flight home. On that same flight was referee Mark L. According to multiple discussions surrounding the incident, Peter confronted him directly and told him the stoppage was a mistake. And then came the statement that completely reignited the controversy. I didn't hear the bell. Not, I thought the fighter was finished. Not, I believed he could not continue. Not, I stopped it for safety reasons. The explanation being discussed was simply that the referee did not hear the bell because of the noise inside the arena. That detail changed everything. Because suddenly this was no longer just fans emotionally reacting to a stoppage. Now people were debating whether a procedural error decided the ending of a heavyweight title fight. And Rico's reaction made the entire thing even more powerful. He did not scream robbery during interviews. He did not accuse boxing of corruption. He stayed calm publicly, respectful even. Thanked Usyk. Thanked the organizers. But behind the scenes, his team reportedly moved immediately and filed an official protest before even fully leaving the country. Then Rico posted the statement that spread across every major combat sports page online within hours. Official protest has been filed on our way to the airport. Rules only matter if they are applied when it matters most. That line hit differently because it sounded controlled, measured, calm, like someone completely confident in their position. And fans immediately connected it to everything that allegedly happened during those final seconds of the fight. Now the appeal itself reportedly focuses on two major arguments. First, that the bell had already sounded before the stoppage officially happened. Second, that Rico allegedly was not given the proper opportunity to recover according to official procedure following the knockdown. Whether those arguments change anything legally is another conversation entirely, but the controversy has already taken on a life of its own online. And while all of this chaos was unfolding, another narrative quietly started taking over boxing conversations everywhere: retirement. Because after the fight, Usyk admitted something people almost never hear from him publicly. He admitted he feels tired. That one word instantly triggered concern throughout the sport. Fighters do not usually say things like that unless something has changed mentally or physically behind the scenes. Then the reaction started pouring in. Eddie Hearn openly admitted he believed Rico was doing extremely well before the stoppage and called the ending questionable. Ryan Garcia also said he believed the round had ended. Peter Fury himself admitted Rico was exhausted but still insisted he deserved the chance to continue into the final round. And suddenly this entire story became bigger than one controversial stoppage. Now people are asking whether the greatest heavyweight of this generation may already be approaching the end of his career. Because before the fight even happened, Usyk had already started talking publicly about retirement plans. He discussed possible final opponents. Mentioned only having a small number of fights left. Used words like last chapter. That matters now more than ever after the performance people witnessed in Egypt. A respected British boxing creator who interviewed Usyk after both of his undisputed title wins even made a fascinating observation. The first time Usyk achieved greatness, the emotion was overwhelming. The second time the energy felt different. Colder. Less emotional. Like a fighter who had already completed every dream he once chased. And once a champion reaches that point mentally, danger enters the equation fast. Because challengers are still hungry. Still desperate. Still chasing history. Meanwhile the champion may already be thinking about life after boxing. Rico Verhoeven looked like a man fighting for everything in that ring. And for long stretches of the fight, that hunger appeared to overwhelm Usyk completely. Which creates the most uncomfortable possibility of all. What happens if Usyk retires now? Because if that happens, Rico's appeal could become meaningless from a practical standpoint. There would be no rematch. No second chance. No opportunity to settle the controversy cleanly inside the ring. The official result would stay in the record books forever, while a huge section of the boxing world continues believing Rico was denied the chance to finish the fight properly. And that is why those 5 words refuse to disappear. Rules only matter if they are applied when it matters most. The whole boxing world heard him. The only question now is whether the sport itself has an answer. Official protest has been filed on our way to the airport. Rules only matter if they are applied when it matters most. Bro, read that line again carefully. That is not rage. That is not emotion taking over. That is not somebody screaming robbery because they lost a close fight. That sounds like a fighter who genuinely believes the facts are sitting completely on his side. Calm. Controlled. Cool. Rico Verhoeven did not need to throw insults around or accuse the sport of corruption. He simply dropped one sentence and let the entire combat sports world argue over it for him. And the reason that quote exploded online so fast is because of what allegedly happened after the fight. According to the story now circulating everywhere in boxing, referee Mark L. reportedly admitted afterward that he never heard the bell before stopping the fight. Not because Rico was unconscious. Not because he could not defend himself. Not because the danger was completely out of control. The controversy